Hello, fifth grade. I am so excited that you guys are going to be learning about Tinkercad today, which is how we design things for the 3D printer. We're not going to be actually printing anything today. Today, we're just going to be designing, which is what all my classes have been doing. We're going to be learning how to use Tinkercad and create so that when it is time to print something, you might have a few designs that are ready. So before you click on the link to Tinkercad, let's take a look at the login. Everyone has a nickname for logging in. Your nickname is going to be your first name, your last initial, and a 5 because you're in fifth grade. So my name is Jen Miller. So my nickname is Jen M5. So you need to keep that in mind. I didn't use nicknames unless you are only known by your nickname and nobody ever calls you your real name. Also, if you have two last names, I used both initials. So if my name was Jen Miller Smith, my nickname would be Jen MS. So keep those things in mind when you go to log in. So you're going to click on Tinkercad Join Class, and you're going to click the green button that says Join with a nickname, and you're going to enter the nickname we just mentioned. So I am Jen M5. That would be my nickname. I'm not in your class, so I'm going to log in as Cora today. Cora M5. And I click, that's me. When Tinkercad opens up, it's going to look just like this. Now, if you are really interested in learning about Tinkercad and all of the things that it can do, I definitely recommend you coming over here to the tutorials later in your own time and learning all the things that Tinkercad can do. But today you don't need to do the tutorials. I'm going to show you some basics so that you can get started and start playing around. And then later, if you're interested, you can come back to those tutorials. So to get started, you're going to click right here on Create. There are 3 choices, but today we're going to be doing 3D design. When your work mat opens up, it's going to look like this, and you can use your touch screen to change your view of the work mat. You can also use this control right up here. You're definitely going to want to be able to look at things from all angles because you're not designing something flat on a piece of paper. You are designing something that is 3D. So it's the difference of drawing a flat picture versus stacking blocks and building something. That's what you're going to be doing. So over here on the shape menu, right now I'm on basic shapes. And so I can grab one of these basic shapes and drag it over to my work mat. I can also click on the drop down menu and look at all the various shapes, or I could click search and I could search for shapes. But today I'm just going to grab a box and plop it onto my work mat. Okay. You can see I can move my work mat and it is definitely a 3D block or cube. I can go all the way and view it from the top. So it does look flat, but it's not. So let's talk about how to change its size and shape. These white squares here, when I hover over them with my mouse, it shows me what's going to change if I drag them. So this one right here would only change the width here. So if I drag that, it's getting wider, and then I could also change that length there. So I'm dragging those corners to change the size. Okay, same with these here. Okay, and these over here. If I only want to change this one, I could click here, the black ones. Okay, the white ones do corners and it expands both ways, but the black ones just do that one size. Okay, this one right here is going to make it get taller like this. Okay, right here, this arrow kind of in a half circle, that's going to have me rotate it. Okay. And then this cone right here is going to let me lift my shape off the ground and see the shadow that's created now. I know that it's not sitting flat on the mat, it's hovering in the air. And if I change my view, I can see there the box is hovering. Now, something to keep in mind is the 3D printer will not know how to print designs that are hovering in the air. Your design actually has to be sitting flat on the work mat for the 3D printer to understand what to do. Okay. So I'm going to hit undo, which is just up here. I can hit undo and bam, it just went straight back down to the ground. All right, so let me show you some other things that you can do. Let's say I like this shape. I'm going to make it more like this size. I want to make a whole bunch of these. So just like in Google, just like you're used to, you can Control C to copy it and Control V to paste another one. So now I have two identical boxes. Did you see how when I pasted that it's kind of going through each other? It's kind of ghosty, right? They're overlapping. If I wanted to stack these, I would have to lift one into the air and bring it over to stack. Okay. And I could change my view there. Oop, it's hovering. So I need to have it sit down there. Okay. So that's how to stack things. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to hit undo because I actually want to do something different with this box. I don't just want to stack the boxes. I actually want to make an open looking box, like a box with a lid off of it that you could look down inside of it. And to do that, I need to make a hole, but I want my hole to be box shaped, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this box just slightly smaller than the first one because I want it to go inside of this one so that I have edges when it's in there. See that? Okay, then I also want to change it from a solid shape to a hole shape. So if I click hole, now all of a sudden that box that I just put in there is not a solid shape, it's a hole. Now I'm going to lift it up just a little bit so that it's sticking out of the top there. And now to make it actually cut out, what I need to do is select both of these shapes. So I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to drag it across to select both of the shapes. Right there, the shapes are selected. It says 2. And I'm going to click on this group button, which also I could do Control G. But I like this one because it reminds me, it looks like a square and a circle that have been combined together. So if I click that, check it out. Now my box is open. It has a box-shaped hole on the inside. Okay, so that's how to make a hole. You can do that with any shape, make it into a hole. Like I could add this sphere and see I have the choice of solid or hole. Something to keep in mind, I'm going to delete that shape. To get rid of that shape that I didn't want, all I did was press delete or backspace. So I got rid of it. Okay, I'm going to add this cylinder here and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to add this cone shape on top, like a little castle turret, right? There we go. Okay, just like that. Okay, if I want the 3D printer to print this shape, let's say I love the way it looks, I want to print it. Right now, the 3D printer would see this as two different shapes and it won't print it. So I have to combine the two shapes together. So I just selected both of them and group them together. And now do you notice they're both the same color? And if I drag the controllers to resize it, it's resizing them, both of them together. So now those are grouped as one object. Something else to keep in mind with designing in Tinkercad is that you can change the colors of things. Ooh, I love that pink. And here, I love this pretty, pretty teal. These are my favorite colors, but this is not going to tell the 3D printer to print in these colors. These are just colors you're using when you're designing. The 3D printer is going to design or print out your object only in the color that is loaded into the machine. So like, for example, right now, one of our machines has silver and one of our machines has glow in the dark. So if I sent this design to the 3D printer right now, it would print out in the color that is loaded. It would not print out in this pretty pink. So while you're playing around in Tinkercad, you can use any color you want, but just keep in mind those are not the colors that it will print out in. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is Tinkercad is automatically going to save what you create. You don't have to remember to press save, which is really cool, but it does save your designs in these crazy names. So, like, it randomly named mine Brave Kazi Fulfi. And, like, what the heck does that even mean? So, I could click here and rename it. I could name it Box and Castle. Let's just say that Box and Castle. Okay. If I go back to my Tinkercad dashboard, there's my design saved called Box and Castle. And if I wanted to keep working on that, I would click Tinker This. Or if I want to start something new, I could click Create. But Tinkercad is going to live in your Google Classroom now, and you will be able to click on that whenever you have free time to work, and you can create designs. There are no limits to the designs that you create. There will be limits to what can actually be printed out from the 3D printer, but you can design as much as you want and play around in Tinkercad. I hope you have fun. Don't forget that you're logging in with a nickname, which is your first name, your last initial, and a 5 because you are a fifth grader. Okay, have fun.